Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings for Friday, August the 17th. We got 14 games tonight on the main slate. It's a slate that does have some good pitching options. Definitely feels good to have Scherzer, Carrasco, Morton on a slate after what we were dealt with yesterday. That was a pretty bad pitching slate. This slate is much better. We got Scherzer against the Marlins, Carrasco against the Orioles, Charlie Morton against the Athletics, all guys in pretty good matchups. In the mid-tier, you got plays here that I see that I like. Hamels against the Pirates, Kyle Gibson against the Tigers could be a play. Freddie Peralta against the Cardinals, a guy we might could consider. Down here in this 7K range, Robbie Ray at just 7,600 against the Padres, going to be a great play. We'll talk about him. You got Jacob Junis against the White Sox, a team that we know to strike out a lot. Looking at the value plays, if I see any value, James Shields is not a good pitcher, but he's facing a Royals team that's just not good. It's definitely could be played at 6,300 if you were to look and go that cheap. But yeah, that's the pitchers I like. It's definitely a better pitching slate. We'll talk more in depth about some of the pitchers I'm on. We'll go through the bats as well, talk about some of the hitters I like. We'll talk about some stacks and BVP plays on this slate. But before we do get started, guys, make sure you drop a like on the video. I definitely appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel and you have not clicked that subscribe button yet, make sure you do subscribe down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. But talking about these three studs, these three guys we have over 10K, you got Scherzer, Carrasco, and Morton. Max Scherzer at 12.6 versus the Marlins, I think it's just too good of a play here, especially at 12.6. It'd be different if Scherzer was like 14K today, but this price is easy to swallow, especially with Robbie Ray being 7,600 against the Pirates. Robbie Ray and Max Scherzer are going to be a popular combo today, but it's a combo that just makes a ton of sense. You can pair those two guys, and I think it leaves you like 3,800 remaining per player. Going to be way a lot of people go, but I think makes a lot of sense. Scherzer here against the Marlins makes a ton of sense as well. This Marlins team is just not good. There's strikeouts in this lineup. They lost Justin Bour, who is not a guy that struck out much. We look at the projected lineup for the Marlins. Just so many Ks here. A lot of righties as well. We know Scherzer gets a ton of strikeouts versus righties. Only lefties in this lineup are Rafael Ortega, who is not a very good hitter. Dietrich, a somewhat okay hitter but strikes out. Sierra, not a good hitter, and he strikes out a lot. It's just such a great spot for Scherzer. The Marlins only have a 2.5 implied run total. In cash games, I think you lock in Scherzer today. In tournaments, I'm going to be pretty heavy on him. I'm probably going to make 10 or 20 lineups today, and he's going to be in at least 50%, I would say. Might even be heavier than that. Scherzer just has so much upside, has 35, 40-point upside in this spot, and I definitely like playing him in both formats. Carlos Carrasco, I wouldn't use in cash games because I think Scherzer's the better cash play, but if you need the savings in tournament, you want to fit in some more expensive bats. Carrasco gets an equally good matchup against the Orioles. Carrasco is definitely playable here. 11-2, I think he is a good option in GPPs, especially if you do want to fade Scherzer because Scherzer is going to be one of the more popular pitchers on this slate. Charlie Morton, I wouldn't be very heavy on today. I would say if I was making 10 lineups, I'd put him in maybe one. I do like the matchup with Oakland. I think Morton has upside here. But Carrasco and Scherzer just have such good matchups when it comes to strikeouts that I think Morton does kind of fall below those two guys. With how many mid-range options there are that I like, it's going to be hard to really play Morton, especially playing him like over Scherzer and Carrasco, but definitely would have exposure if I was making a lot of lineups today. But not too heavy on Morton in my opinion. But then look into this mid-range. I mentioned Cole Hamels against the Pirates. He faced the Pirates in his Cubs debut, pitched really well. I think Hamels is probably going to pitch pretty well here again. 8,700, not a big fan of that price, but I think Cole Hamels is definitely playable. Same with Gibson, 8,500 against the Tigers. I think Gibson in tournaments makes a lot of sense. Freddie Peralta in tournaments as well at 8K versus the Cardinals, a team that runs out a lot of righties. Definitely like Freddie Peralta. But the guy that just clearly sticks out to me is Robbie Ray, just 7,600 facing the Padres. Robbie Ray is just too cheap here for this matchup. We know this Padres team strikes out a ton. It's a great spot for Robbie Ray. He's pitching in Petco. He's going to be pitching in a good pitcher's park. Just everything sets up well for Ray to really outperform his salary today. In tournaments, Robbie Ray is a fade, I guess. You could fade him if you wanted to do that in tournaments, because we know Robbie Ray has a lot of blow-up potential. But he does have a ton of upside on this salary. Robbie Ray could easily get 30 DraftKings points today, which would absolutely be crushing his salary. But if he is going to be somewhat popular, which I imagine he will be, I could see fading him in tournaments. In cash games today, I think you play Scherzer and Robbie Ray. I think that's your pairing in cash. But Robbie Ray in tournaments, I'm going to be pretty heavy on him in tournaments just because I think he has so much upside here. But definitely won't be going like all in. I will be fading him in some tournament lineups. But I am going to have plenty of exposure, especially this combo here. Scherzer Ray is going to be a pitching combo I have a lot of exposure to today. But that's really it for pitcher. There isn't a lot of value I like. I mentioned James Shields down here at 6,300 just because he's facing the Royals, which is a team that's not good. Shields has shown ability to get some strikeouts, but you always know that blow-up potential is there for James Shields. Wouldn't go too heavy on him, but if I was making a lot of lineups, I'd throw him in a couple. But yeah, I think that's it for pitchers, so let's go ahead and talk about some hitters that I'm on today. We'll start off at second base. You can play this guy at second or at third base. Really like David Fletcher as a cheap value play, just 3,300. Should be batting second for the Angels in Globe Life Park, a great hitter's park. Right now, as I'm recording this video, this game Thursday night has, I believe, 9 or 10 runs already, and they're only in like the third inning. There's going to be runs scored in this just throughout this series, pretty much every night, especially depending on who's pitching for these teams. And both of these teams really don't have any good pitchers in their rotation. Today we've got Minor and Odrismir Despaigne, who I know used to pitch for the Marlins. Guy that wasn't that great of a pitcher. Having to go to Globe Life Park is not going to help him versus this Rangers team that has a ton of power. I love both sides of this game for bats, and you can find value here as well. These stacks are going to be pretty chalky today, but I think they're worth it. I think the runs are going to be scored. In cash games, really like David Fletcher at 3,300, batting second, especially if you want to play Scherzer in cash games, which I would recommend. David Fletcher makes a great value option, 3,300. And then my next play going to be at shortstop. Also looking to that game, I really like Elvis Andrus from the other side. He's 4,300, facing Despaigne, who is not a pitcher that I really believe in, that I feel like is just going to struggle here. I'd imagine he's not going to pitch too deep into this game. The Angels are probably going to have like a bullpen game. So that really makes me like the Rangers even more. Just like this stack so much. It's a stack that has a lot of upside. You can find value in this stack with Mazzara at 4,100, who I feel like is a little bit underpriced today. Andrus at 4,300. You've got Chirinos, pretty expensive catcher, but 4,200. You got Guzman, 4,400. A lot of these guys are kind of priced up, but like Andrus and Mazzara really stick out to me. Batting third and fourth is what they're projected to bat. Definitely make a ton of sense as a mini stack. We'll go ahead and plug in Mazzara as my other play, as my fifth play to pair with Andrus for that little mini stack. Mazzara's coming off the DL. He made his debut off the DL on Thursday, and he did hit a homer, I believe. We know this is a guy that has a ton of power, just has a lot of upside in general, and he's just in a great spot here at home in this hitter's park, in this hitting environment. Just love this game for bats in general. So yeah, guys, these are my 5 plays for today. Max Scherzer, Robbie Ray, David Fletcher, Elvis Andrus, and Nomar Mazzara. Now we'll go over some of the stacks that I like today, talk about some of the BVP plays on this slate as well. But looking at some of the top stacks, it's going to be this game, this Angels-Rangers game is going to be the game we really want to focus on for a lot of our hitters. But I think you can get away from that game in tournaments. Look to the Indians today. The Indians are going to be low-owned. Nobody's going to pay up for Lindor, Brantley, Ramirez, because they're not going to be able to fit them if they want to pay up for Scherzer. So if you were to go like maybe Robbie Ray and Kyle Gibson, or Robbie Ray, Cole Hamels, or Hamels Gibson in tournaments, if you were to do that pitching combo in tournaments and then pay up for the Indians, I think that's a great way to go. You're getting off the chalk pitchers that are going to be high owned, and you're also getting guys that have a lot of upside versus David Hess, Ramirez, Lindor. These guys are great plays today. Definitely recommend fading the top arms at pitcher in tournaments and stacking the Indians. I will for sure be doing that in at least one lineup. They're in a great spot, 6.1 implied run total versus Hess. I mentioned the Rangers, Angels, both sides of that game I really like. Then if we were to look for some other teams, there aren't really a ton of other really high totals on this slate besides the Indians, and then I imagine once we see totals in this game, that total in that Rangers game is going to be pretty high. You got the Red Sox, 5.5 implied run total versus the Rays. Not too high on the Red Sox here. Would much rather play the Indians over them today. But I think that is it for stacks. We'll quickly go over some BVP plays on the slate before we do get out of here. So starting off with some of these Pirates. Starling Marte gone 8 for 17 with a home run versus Cole Hamels. And Adeiny Echeverria gone 11 for 31 Versus Hamels, Russell Martin, 8 for 20 with 2 home runs versus Lance Lynn. Matt Wieters, 6 for 10 with 2 home runs versus Dan Straley. Alcides Escobar, 6 for 19 versus James Shields. And Lucas Duda, 4 for 16 with 2 home runs versus Shields. Avery Andrianza from the Twins, he's gone 4 for 11 versus Matt Boyd. Martin Maldonado, 5 for 12 with a home run versus Edwin Jackson. Chris Davis, 3 for 12 with 2 home runs versus Charlie Morton. Will Myers, 4 for 17 with 2 home runs versus Robbie Ray. And Hunter Renfroe, 3 for 11 with 3 home runs versus Robbie Ray. So yeah, guys, that's it for BVP. Those are my 5 plays for today. I think I covered all the stacks I like. So I think that is it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the vid, just make sure you click that like button before you get out of here. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you do subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT, or feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And good luck tonight on this big 14-game slate. Peace.